Ground Zero podcast, guys. It is me, Jump, with the man Wit again, I think for episode 5. And we have a good one. We have the playoff picture coming into light, a lot of the award winners, who's in the running, and the standings. We can go over where everybody's at, see how the final couple weeks here of the league are going to go and who's going to get in. And but how are you doing, Wit?
Doing good, John. Doing good. Just excited to, get this for me, not being in contention. Excited for the year to be over with. Excited to watch teams and owners like yourself jump into the playoff picture. It's fun. Watching some guys that started. One guy that started that we talked about earlier on our last episode was Nate. He started off just horrible. The guy, we know what kind of player he is. Will come back and won 5 in a row. So he's shown that he can come back. I mean, we all knew it. I knew at some point he's going to put it together. So, and then you got the Texans. They've had a rough year, but I know that owner is going. He's got a lot of draft picks. I think this offseason he's going to make a lot of changes, and he will be in the playoffs or in contention next year. Victor, same thing. I mean, there's a lot of guys in this league, Jump, that are. I mean, it's a very. I mean, there's some of us at the bottom, but most of the teams are right there, 5, 6, 7 wins. So I'm excited to see the parity and seeing guys that had a rough start coming back now as we progress through this season into next. You'll start seeing the true guys that are the top of the league. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some surprises. I think, it's good to see. We talked about Nate last time. It's good to see him get his wins back. Yeah, the Texans tornado. I always assume he's going to turn it around. So, he's going to get some capital and change the team to the way he likes. I'm sure he'll get back. But there's now, we're this deep in the season. We get to really see where we're all at. It feels like so long since we were able to do this. I'm a little surprised you haven't turned it on a little bit, man. I know I always expect you to have a chance there to come rolling back maybe late in the season, but it's been a little tough going for you and a few others. Even Chuck, like what was that, the last GZ stream? He was rolling and he dropped a few. So a lot of good guys. Game's hard to predict. I'm afraid. I got Bellis up next. That's every game's tough around here, man.
Yeah, and Blake and Chandler in my division, the Bucks, has really kind of been a big surprise, and watching him, and he's done a good job. I mean, he's pushing Q for that division. So he pulled out a win just
That's good
earlier,
to see.
against Floppy in the 49ers. So yeah, it's I tell you what, it's fun to kind of watch down the stretch. The next 2 to 3 weeks. I think we'll go over some award winners, and all that. But we got week 15 matchups, Jump, with Colts versus Vikings, which Vikings are outside looking in, that they can make a move. If they win out and some people lose, they could possibly sneak in there. So
Dude, Blake's doing good. Like he's, I mean, obviously I've been doing pretty good, and with Bling in the division, like that's tough to get wins. He's right there on the outside. I think he might be able to string off some and be right there. But that one this week against Ant and the Colts, that'll be big for sure.
yeah, another one is Pooj against Bling. I mean,
Oh yeah.
he's got it. He's trying to get that number 1 seed, and Pooj is holding on for dear life on the 7th seed. So he's trying to keep that spot. And I think Pooj, when he's on his game, man, he's hard to beat. And I mean, Bling, I mean, he's one of the top players in this league. So I think
Bling's
that'll
good.
be an
Is
interesting game.
Bling the 2 now? Is the Packers the
Yeah,
2
he's a
and the
2.
Seahawks
So
took the 1?
yeah,
Okay.
as of 15, week 15, we just advanced. He's the 2, and Pooj is and 7. And then I know you can talk about your game against Bellis. I'll let you talk about that one coming up.
Oh yeah, I forgot we were getting that. My bad. Yeah. So yeah, that one. Yeah, dude, I'm excited. I have a pretty good passing offense, and his passing defense with those corners is gonna be tough. Like that's kryptonite to basically any offense in this game, right? If you can have a decent run defense and those mighty corners. That helps a lot. So, but that'll be fun. That'll be a good test to see if I'm actually going to be able to compete in the playoffs or if I have been just beating up my schedule. But it's hard to tell until you start matching up with these guys at the top. It'll be fun.
Yeah, that'll be a good game. I look forward to watching you guys, and Bellis is turned it on. You'll see later there's some award winners that are, they're leading, with your team and his team. All the top teams have top end players. So then you got Noah against Mills, which is always a
Yeah,
good
another
matchup.
top game. Yeah.
1 against 4. So, Mills is trying to move up, and Noah's trying to keep his number 1 seed. So that's definitely a big game because they're right there. There's not much room between the Chargers and the Titans. It's
No,
a game or
it's
two.
all tight enough, and Noah has his division. I think the Titans are pretty well set with
Yeah.
their division. Now, some seeding at the top, he might lose his bye if like Mills could turn it on. And Mills has got his division by I think a couple games, but Chuck obviously could roll off the end of the schedule and win out and make that really close. I
Yeah,
think so.
I mean, yeah, you look at the seating right now for week 15, the Broncos are at 5 and Chargers are at 4. So, Chuck's right on Mills's heels, just trying to, just waiting for him to, lose some. So, we push forward to week 16, you got Broncos and Rams. So, Pooch has got 2 back-to-back games they're gonna be tough. He's playing, Bling, and then he plays Chuck. So I mean, for Pooch, he's got to be on his A game.
Oh man, yeah, that's a tough way to try and close some of this out. That's not easy for him, but no, that's good, man. Like he's right on the edge, though. I kind of would like to get some of these playoff teams under my belt a couple weeks before the playoffs start, because to get a real good feel for where you're at. But it's kind of like the real NFL this late in the season, right? We got a ton of really good matchups to watch that have a lot of implication. First half of the season, everybody's got a chance and is excited about their new players and all the stuff. And eventually, some teams are gonna just be like, "Ah, crap. Well, this season's toast," and playing for trying to get guys better, trying to see what works for them, and more experimentation with younger guys, and not, and then but then we get to see these matchups like Titans Chargers at the end of the season, and yeah, Broncos Rams, which will have a huge impact on both the AFC and the NFC. I'm looking forward to these last few weeks for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking, after that we got week 17, week 18. So I mean, we've got pivotal matchups. I mean, it's every game now. I mean, every game means everything, but when you get to the end of the year, it's really it's pressure. I don't know, I know I feel the pressure every time I play, but I can't imagine being sitting at 7 or 6, and every game I've got to come with my A game to win that game because I've got somebody right behind me pushing me hard. So I
I
mean,
tend to feel there's pressure like every game in this league, right?
yeah,
But
yeah, I think yeah,
like it's all the
100%.
same. But then you get to
100%.
you get to some of these later ones where it matters a whole lot. It's like, oh crap.
Yep. So yeah, the week playoff picture right now, week 15 playoff picture just got updated as we advance. We got on the Titans number 1, you got Bellis number 2, number 3 is Malibu with the Ravens. You got Chargers, Mills at 4, then you got 5 Broncos, Chuck, Steelers, Oscar at 6, and Colts Ant at 7. So there's your AFC picture, as we sit in week 15. So like I said, it's changing every week. Last week, it was different matchups. So now it changed, and we'll try to keep that updated, and then next time we do our podcast, hopefully before the playoffs, we'll talk more about it. But if you want to talk about the NFC playoff picture.
Yeah, I'll hit that. I mean, in that AFC picture, is anything? I mean, that's not probably terribly different from what we were seeing the last time we did one of these, and we're breaking it down after the last power rankings. What was that, week like 10? A lot of, I mean, I don't remember if Malibu was that high up at 3, like doing that well at that time. So he must have had a pretty good stretch here recently. But yeah, it's good to see that how that's playing out. It's kind of fun. There's some big matchups there, but yeah, let's go over the NFC here. Yeah, so Andy took over the top seed there at the 1 with the Seahawks. He's just been a monster. And Bling at number 2 is still going to be tough to knock off at any time. We got the Q, of course, with the Falcons, Nick with the Eagles, yeah, both storming. And Q's what's Q? Is he have 4 losses? I don't know. But anyway, so he's he's got that division pretty well locked up, I think, unless Chandler can win out and Q loses another one or two. So that's good. He should have that spot probably at least 3 or 4 locked up. And
Yeah, I
then
don't think the NFC's really changed, Jump. I mean, you look at it, I think I mean, between
with
Andy and Blaine, they've been going back and forth, maybe 1 and 2, but 3 through 7 have been pretty. I mean, other than you guys jumping each other, I think it's been, pretty much the same teams.
probably, I think, well, yeah, because no, Pooj, I know he started off good with his stats and he was rolling. I don't know if he's, but at 7, that's good. And Chandler was looking pretty good at that point too. So you're probably right. It is probably pretty similar to what we saw last time. I'm expecting though that the NFC has a lot of competition in the middle, like a ton of competition, and it should be a lot of fun to see everybody beat up on each other. I expect one of the NFC East teams that's not in there to be in. I mean, I'd personally love to see Blake. I'd love to see another NFC North. I think he's really tough, and I think he's just had to run into some tough competition. I'd love to see Blake get in there. I mean, obviously Chandler Pooj, that's cool, but I'd love to see Blake get in there. And then, but one of the Giants is probably got a good chance to get in, or T. White with the Cowboys. He's rolled some people, and I'm kind of surprised he's not in at this point. Because he's got to be just on the outside looking in. I haven't looked too close. I probably should
Yeah,
get
you've
that
got. I'm looking at it now. You got Giants and Cowboys both 7 and 6. So,
right. So
uh,
they're right there, and I
yep.
mean, T Tyler, when he's playing good, he's pretty nasty. So I kind of expect, as the last few weeks shake up, expect to see especially 6 and 7. I think I'm locked in at 5 because I doubt Bling loses more than one. I might lose one or two. And even if I lose 3, I think I'm still at that 5 spot. So that's probably not changing. My guess is 6 and 7. That could change places. It could end up being Chandler and Pooj, but I think it'll change places a few times over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, right in the middle there is a lot. I mean, you look at the top end, you got double-digit wins for the Falcons at 10 and 3. You got your Lions jump at 11 and 2. You got Noah with 11 and 2. You got Mills at 10 and 3. You got Andy with the Seahawks 11 and 2. So a lot of the top end, and then Malibu 10 and 3. He's turned it on. And then you got a lot in the 7 and 6, 6 and 7 range. Blake at 6 and 7, he's right there to make that move.
I
And
believe in
like
you,
you
Blake.
said,
You can
yep,
do it.
yeah, I think you can do it, man. Just keep going, Blake. I know you get frustrated. Don't get frustrated. Keep plugging and keep focused and all that. So
Well, this is probably the best my record will ever look. So I should probably start like shit talking at some point because I'm unlikely to have this win-loss ratio at any other point. And I'm doing it with the Lions, yo.
yeah, 11 and 2 at the Lions. You gotta give Jump props for that. It's impressive, very impressive to have that team and do that. Because I mean, we all know they have talent, a lot of young talent, but not a lot of veteran talent like some of these other teams. So yeah, Jump, you're doing a hell of a job. I mean, 11 and 2 is phenomenal. I mean, it really is with that team. I can't
I
say
mean, there's a
enough.
slightly better quarterback at the helm than
Yeah.
Jared Goff, but
Yeah.
still.
So right now, I looked at the awards as of week 15. We got MVP race right now is Kenneth Walker the third. The Seahawks, Andy is utilizing him, and he is bulldozing over people. He's right now leading the race of the MVP. And so you've got, we'll jump to the AFC offensive player of the year right now. It's being led by Jonathan Taylor, the Colts. So Ant's been utilizing him very well. I think that, utilizing the run game, especially for me, that's something that I'm trying to do is just more run game, ball control,
But you see a
not
lot of
turn the ball
running
over.
backs and a lot of running backs and defensive players on these MVP races, and so
Yeah.
you get a sense of what's working in a real way.
Yeah. And you got Troy Anderson for the Jets, Bellis for the defensive player of the year. So far, he's leading. Like I said, this can change. This is just as of week 15. Uh, Tyquan Thornton of the Pats. So you got Jelly coming in with the offensive rookie of the year. So we all know what kind of player Jelly is. So wasn't surprised that at him when he has a favorite guy, he targets him a lot. So that's
I
one
was
of
I,
his.
I was a little surprised to see Jelly. he's looked like he was starting off pretty good too. I guess
Yes,
he
yes.
didn't win as many as I thought he would. I was hoping he would, but, we'll assume that's some rust getting knocked off and,
He's been
good
away
some
from Madden for a year, so it takes some time to get back into it. So
right?
yeah, right now he's sitting at I can't tell it. I don't know if he's got a bye this week because I don't see the Pats up on the schedule for next week.
But yeah,
No,
he's gotta
actually
get on the
no,
rookie
3 and 10. He's actually going up against Scott. Raiders against Pats are both 3 and 10. So that's
and Scott's
another
can play too.
Scott. That's another one that I think season two. Next season, the following season, you'll start seeing those two gentlemen right there, Jelly and Scott, really exceed those records. I mean, they'll be double-digit wins for both of those guys. So
I think, like I talked about before, I think what starts to happen about midway and once you get to like week 12 or so is it's kind of like in game where you throw one pick. Okay, you're gonna throw another and you start spiraling. I think seasons start to go that way too. You lose six and then you lose, it gets to be week 12 and now you've lost seven. Well, that starts turning into more really quickly, right?
yes, yes, morale goes down. Your
Yeah.
quarterback. I mean, it's morale's a big deal. You don't realize it until you're actually playing and your record's 3 and 10 or mine's 2 and 11 or whatever it is. Your morale of your team is not good. Your quarterback's not good, so he'll throw. I mean, it's just kind of funny how Madden kind of rolls that into the game.
Mhm.
So you see the guys keep winning, their morale's good, their team's playing well. Of course, they're good players, but the morale of the team's good as well. So, but yeah, Pats. I mean, like I said, I think Dilly will come on strong. You got defensive rookie of the year, Troy Anderson again of the Jets. So you got Bellis just that guy, this Troy Anderson, I think he's defensive lineman or linebacker or defensive end, and he's killing it. I mean,
Ellis
he's a
can build a
rookie.
team.
Oh, he
Yep.
can build a team, man. Yeah,
Excited with the Jets. Those young guys are going to get a lot of time. He's going to be good with them. It's going to be, he's
oh
going to.
yeah,
Yeah, you can see it's all over there. What he's got, two or three on there too. Yep.
oh yeah, yeah. He's got 2 or 3. You got Malik Willis, best quarterback with Noah, which is
Oh
surprising.
yeah.
So one of the top players with one of the top quarterbacks. You got best running back with Jonathan Taylor and Colts. You got
Oh
best
yeah.
receiver. You got Deke with Jamar Chase, which isn't a surprise. He utilizes him a lot. So I mean, Deke loves his pass game, and he's got some weapons on that Bengals team. So yeah, best offensive
Yeah.
lineman would be Corey Lindsey, the Chargers. Mills is got right now leading. You got best defensive lineman is Von Miller, the Bills, which I think I was just looking at some stats. They've got the most sacks in the league at 57 or something. I was just pulling
Really?
up for this podcast. Yeah, I was looking at the teams or the whole league stats, and it looked like the Bills had the most sacks. I think
Right
50,
on.
high 50s, low 60s. Matthew Judon. So I mean, I've tuned in some games of Jellies and Judon's all over. I mean, all over the quarterback. So that didn't surprise me at best linebacker. And then best DB, a rookie coming in with Kyle Hamilton of the Ravens. So Malibu's got really utilizing Kyle Hamilton well and getting picks
Oh wow. Yeah.
and all
Nice.
that. So, but yeah, out of that list, there's not really any way it's surprising me. I mean, the top offensive and defensive rookie of the year. I mean, they're both. I mean,
Yeah.
they're both. I mean, Jelly when Jelly's on, man, especially with his passing game, I can see that, and of course with Bellis and his defense, he always plays good defense. So
Yeah.
I'll let you take the NFC jump if you want to go over the NFC right now.
Yeah.
Awards.
Yeah. So here, take a look here. So yeah, at for offensive player of the year, Kenneth Walker with Andy and the Seahawks is just dominant. Defensive player of the year right now is Deshaun Elliott with the Lions. He's been just awesome. Kenneth Walker's also up for offensive rookie of the year. Of course he is. And defensive rookie of the year, Nick has N'Kobe Dean. Yeah, he's been at the top of that for a while. He must be having a pretty good season too. Best QB is Bling and the Packers. I didn't look, but he I think he has the best rating or QB rating in the league right now. I could be wrong. Maybe it's Willis, but Walker is also up for best running back with the Seahawks again. Best wide receiver is the rookie Jamison Williams with the Lions. So he's doing okay. Offensive line, Shaq Mason with the Bucks is at the top there. I feel like some of the award for how they choose the awards for the offensive line, I've seen it do some weird stuff sometimes, but that seems like a good one. Defensive line, Jonathan Allen with the Commanders is, and Jonathan Allen's awesome. Nakobe Dean is up for best linebacker right now, and then Deshaun Elliott is back for best DB with the Lions. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys on that list that you should you would say, okay, maybe you shouldn't be up for best awards normally, but a lot of teams that are winning. Although there's some like, I don't know, the Commanders I don't think are doing great, but Jonathan Allen's getting up there. Chandler has someone up there with his offense line. So there's some names.
Yeah, so I mean, you look at the NFC, it's a little different than NFC. You got almost everybody except for probably the Commanders. Every single one of them are top, are bound teams. Lions, Eagles, Packers, Seahawks, and then you go to AFC and you got, I mean, most of them you got Titans, all that, but the Pats
Yeah.
have two guys. Ravens are bound. Bills I think are close to the playoffs, maybe depending, but yeah, I mean it's funny just to see these, and I don't pay attention to that much, but it's fun doing this podcast, and you kind of
Yeah.
start seeing, I mean, there's so much information inside Madden and our league that, you could spend days going through that. I was just going through some of the stats for the best offensive team, and who just got like the most passing yards, and then you go most rushing yards, it's Noah, so I mean, that doesn't surprise me with Derrick Henry. So, I mean, there's a deep dive. I mean, we can spend 2 episodes jump on just, team stats and all that too.
I started to go into it. I'm like, nope, nope, can't can't do this too much. I'm like, okay. Well, most of the teams that rush and are winning, leading the league in rushing are have good are headed to the playoffs. The
Yeah.
passing, not the same. I'm like, okay, so trying to just find. I quickly decided to stop doing that because that was insane.
Yeah. I mean, we spent episodes just going over that because there's so much information in there. So, we talked about, I mean, a lot of stuff on this, mainly going over, the playoff hunt. Kind of the next couple of weeks is, I mean, the next week in real life, we're definitely gonna see kind of who's gonna be in the playoffs. So, me and Jump are gonna probably do a playoff episode of the podcast right before it when we know everybody's locked in, or maybe, right before we start the playoffs and do some predictions of, you know, who's going to win, which, who's going to be in the Super Bowl and all that jump. I think that's a good idea, just doing right before the playoffs so we can kind of go over predictions of the playoffs, and then we can start talking about, the off season and free agents and all that. So, I mean, we've got a lot to go over. We haven't been on here for a minute, and we apologize for that. A lot of life stuff going on, but I enjoy doing this podcast, Jump. It's a blast. I enjoyed diving into the league ground zero and talking about, owners and them on this podcast with us and talking about the league and what they like. And this league is phenomenal. It's fun. Even losing is, even if I lose every game, I'm still enjoying it. I'm trying to build up players, build a team. I feel like, it's my team. I want to build it up. There's things I want to do, just like you, Jump. There's things you want to do with your team. So, I'm excited to see you in the playoffs. Chandler, I'm kind of rooting for in our division to make a run. I'm excited to see him. Blake, I know Jaden will be back with the Texans. I mean, there's guys that, man, and we talked about Scott and Jelly. There's guys that are down. They're down this year, but I tell you what, they're going to be back next year. So what would you like to, say your final thoughts?
Yeah, so I mean, dude, it was good to do this again. It took too long to do that, so yeah, but good to get back into it. But I think this was the perfect time. Like I said, this one was obviously geared a little bit more towards what that playoff picture is going to look like. So it's really an exciting 3 weeks for who was it, like Oscar and Ant and Chandy, and Dylan. Like there's a handful of guys, the Giants switched over. That's BFOMs maybe now, right? But so that T White, Pooj, Chandler, and again, I like Blake. Like right now, it's this time is pretty exciting for them. Me, I'm looking forward to every game. Like, it's not always, you know, when you lose, I totally get it. Like, I'm like, oh, don't need to touch this game for a minute. But every time I win, I'm like, okay, advance. Time for advance. Let's go. So I'm excited right now. It's fun. And then next time we'll be able to talk about, you know, probably what the playoffs are, what to look forward to, and probably start talking about the excitement for everybody else, right? Talk about what's going to start happening in the draft. You know, maybe if there's some news stories about what players we already know are going to free agency, at least we'll have some ideas of stuff that's about to happen. But like I said, I'm glad we did this one so we get a good picture of what we have coming up in store for the next few weeks and going into the playoffs, because this is what it, you know, this is what you work for, and it ramps up now a little bit.
Yeah, and I think Ground Zero. I mean, we're talking going to do a league stream. I don't know if we're going to do a week 15 or they might wait for a week 16, but look for that. They'll have a league stream coming, and then you might have one the last week depending on the playoff races. There's some good games and everybody's schedule. I'll do that as well. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. Even though I'm out of it, man, I'm excited. I got Q this week, so I
Right?
mean
There's guys to cheer for.
that's
Everybody, we
yeah.
all, yeah, we all
Yes,
like, you know,
Chandler's cheering
there's
for
always
me to
someone.
win. Yeah, Chandler's cheering for me. I mean, everybody that's close to, jumping people or cheering for other teams to beat other teams. So right now it's a fun time. Even though I'm out of it, I can still, beat some people that would help some other people else. And I mean,
Or if
it's
you got to cheer against someone, like you can't stand, you know, me, good.
mhm.
I can't stand the Cowboys. I'll watch a Cowboys game occasionally just because I want to see them lose, right? So for you, you know, come in, you know, same thing. You know, get in, find a reason to enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, get involved, guys. Even though you're out of the playoff race and all that, get involved still. I mean, I tell you what, Nate, even though he's been out of the he hasn't had a great year. He jumped up and made some great art for our
Dude, some
league
awesome stuff.
streams and then we're getting a lot of just a lot of content. I'm excited about all the content. I mean, I this is a game. I mean, you have fun, you win, you lose, whatever. But I think the content and getting people involved is for me is the funnest part of this league. And just
For
gotta get more
sure.
people involved. I mean, I think what we're doing, Jump and getting Nate involved with that, and if we can get some other people doing some articles on different things and I mean getting involved. We got the go to clips that are kind of fun to watch. We got to start looking at maybe um rating those.
We got to get those
We got to
in.
get
That's
those
right.
award winners. Yeah, we got to
Mhm.
figure out who's winning those because I've got money. I'm going to be dishing out to the winners of those. So it makes it fun. I mean, we just the best part of this league Jump is it's always fun, even though you're not winning. I'm still having a blast, and it's just fun because the league is so close and there's so many great people, and it's just fun to watch. It's fun to watch you and your record. I mean, that's amazing. I didn't realize. I thought you had more than two losses. I was like, dang, I try to into your streams all the time because it's just a blast watching your games and the way
I've been
you
a little
your energy.
quiet lately. I've been
You have
trying
been
not to wake
quiet.
up the
I've been
family.
worried about you. But yeah, you won't wake up your kids and your wife. No, I appreciate it. Jump and we'll do this again. And any
Yeah,
other
buddy.
parting thoughts you want to talk about?
No, just excited that we got to do this again. Sorry it took so long, and part of it is, keeping everyone engaged. We gotta get out here and get Wit's words of wisdom for the week or two. So try and do this a little bit more. But this was great, man. I'm like I said, I'm looking forward to it. I can't. I'm kind of shocked I'm winning, honestly, and I'm very much expect Bellis to smack me back to reality this week. So
Well, I think that'll be a good game. Don't underestimate yourself. I think you'll play Bellas very well. You always have. I mean, plus says, yeah, you just don't make mistakes against Bells because he'll make you pay. He's got a good cornerback and young team and fast team. So
well, the good thing
just
is I don't make a lot of mistakes and I don't throw a lot of picks, so this should go just fine.
yeah, I'm excited to watch your game. There's like I said, week 15, 16, tune in, GZ. There's a lot of games coming up and tune in and get involved and league stream, which will be coming probably 15 or 16 they're talking about. They might even do 17 a little bit closer, but get ready for another league stream. Those are a blast. I love the league streams. I always tune in. So
They've been awesome, something to look forward to. But this has been
yeah.
great, Whit.
Thanks, Jump again, man. And Ground Zero, um, good night and have a blessed night. And then I'll see you in the morning. Thanks,
Ballin'.
Jump. Appreciate
See you,
it.
buddy.
Bye.